stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'll look for a motion to approve today's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Motion and second. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you.
March 15th meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meetings attended, Scott?
No, I had a 911 meeting and to discuss the purchase of the new dispatch radios for the sheriff's office. They end up approving, after quite a bit of discussion, 500, not to exceed 580,000. And that's for all new consoles at the jail. And that should get, well, it's all new radios for the squad cars. And one new handheld for each fire department. And I believe they were gonna get one for each ambulance department. And in that discussion, they'll probably come to the EMS board to ask for partial payment of the yearly warranty or service, I guess, service contract is. Anyway, there's some discussion about, maybe seeing if they would pay a partial, since the ambulances are getting some. So, I mean, that's gonna be a discussion for that committee.
Yeah, we do them quarterly, so won't be till July. Yeah.
And I guess they approved some batteries for the Wapello Fire Department for their radios, and I guess that was about it for that meeting.
Anything else?
That was the only meeting I had last week.
Kevin, what you had?
Community action meeting. Pretty much status quo down there. They're looking at purchasing a building in Fort Madison for a new Head Start facility down there. Other than that, there's a lot new on the agenda there, so. Other than last night's public hearing, that's the only one.
Yeah. I went to the 911 meeting as well, Scott. My discussion was for the ambulance side of it, and I think we got that all kind of rectified there that evening. And Wednesday night, we had an emergency conservation meeting, to approve. Kurt had showed up and wanted some area to train dogs down in Indian Slough, and that was approved. And then we did the director's review, got that out of the way. Thursday morning, we had a department head meeting here in the office. Things went well. We talked about a lot of stuff, some things I needed to check on. Nothing really earth shattering, but I think it was nice to get together and talk about things. And then, yeah, last night we had our public hearing. I think that went well. We had a full house, which was surprising. Generally, you don't have anybody, so. Those are meetings. Okay, item number 5 is public input. Anybody that's not on the agenda?
I'd like to say something when you come to articles or item 7.
Okay, very good. Anybody else? All right. I didn't see any payroll changes. I think we're good there. Item number 7, discussion and possible action regarding the driver's license station. So last meeting, we talked about a little bit. We got some information from Vicki on times that we spent with the driver's license station. The costs involved and what we get refunded back per license from the state. Kevin did a lot of work on that. We we're trying to figure out ways within the county to reduce government. The state keeps coming down on us every year and lowering, forcing the tax rate down, and besides cutting people, we're trying to figure out creative ways to, reduce that. So, Randy, you have something to?
Well, you said last night that we were gonna save $30,000. Is that are you reducing an employee to say that, or how are you saving that $30,000?
Well, one of the things we're gonna have to start looking at is, like, for example, with the roads and the conservation, we're looking at sharing an employee.
So that's what you're looking at there?
Conservation has a busier season that's different than the busier season for roads.
Sure.
You know,
Absolutely.
we could share back and forth, and that may be something we have to look at over at the courthouse at some point.
So that's where your $30,000 savings would be.
It would be in the future if, you know, if for instance, during tax season, the treasurer's office is very busy. And there's other times when they maybe aren't quite as busy and some other office is very busy. We may end up having to have a total of less employees with cross-trained employees that can move around.
So that's where it would be in adjusting employees around through the courthouse.
It would be.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about getting rid of anybody. I'm
Yeah.
talking about maybe through attrition, when somebody leaves, we start cross-training ahead of that time.
I see. Okay.
You know, to reduce overall payroll.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out where that 30,000.
You know, but we can't do that if we have things that are taking up too much time and losing money on.
I understand. Okay, thank you.
You know, maybe this would have been an easier pill to swallow if we got rid of a person and the driver's license station all at the same time. But,
Get rid of the person last year.
well, you don't try to just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's take this step, and then after that's done, okay, well, now that's done, let's take this step, and, you know,
And the reason I asked you, it just said that we were gonna save $30,000. Okay.
there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
It's a big ball here
Right.
that we're trying
I
to
get it.
sort out.
That makes sense. Thank you.
And
So I asked how many people serviced in Louisa County last week, the outside. Did we ever come up with a number, how many?
I didn't bring those papers with me. Vicky did share some information.
The total licenses issued is 1,800. We gave 337 written tests and 159 drive tests. That's just items that we issue on the computer. That doesn't take into account recalls, re-exams, and phone calls. There's no way to track those. They don't have a report for that. But that takes up a lot of time as well. But that's the numbers issued.
3,000 people overall.
3,000, 3,500 probably total.
And the other, following up on Randy's a little bit, when you say you wanna move people around, I'm gonna say that's probably one of the busiest offices there is. All the whole office. So surely you'd be moving people into there, not away from there. To help out, which is only
Depends which offices is busy at that time.
correct, but I'm just saying, that's probably the busiest year round. Because you got
Foot
people coming
traffic
in,
lights.
birthday not singing and all that. So I have a hard time taking a service away and not saving a dime. You can maybe better adjust the people around, but you're gonna have that anyhow. But you're not saving a dime here or making a dime, either way, it's neutral, in my eye.
Well-
Not saying we can't argue about it.
So,
But to take away a service that's very important to older people, people who don't have rights, and that is, I don't think it's necessary. We can look somewhere else.
but we took the person away or the other board took the person away last year. And according to Vicky, they struggle to get their work done. And a lot of work's getting put on the back burners is what I'm hearing from Vicky, so. That's where Sean said that, you know, we took the person away, but we didn't end the service, so, you know, maybe that should all happened at the same time. Because they're struggling to get what they gotta get done.
Well, that's again, you can have people from the departments that's not busy at that time, or, and I'm not saying that's possible either. I don't know the routine over there, and I don't know the hours over there, so I don't. But I'm just saying that's a big service, that's one of the main services.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you gotta remember wasn't that many years ago, we didn't have that service. I mean, it hasn't always been there.
Robert, like,
No,
Been here
no,
since
the
I've been here.
county,
Hey, Bill, 1997, I went to get my license, I had to go to Muscatine.
It didn't start here until 2000. That was when it started. It just
2000, you started, what
doing
service?
driver's license. We started it in 2000, because I've worked there since 92, and
Thought I got mine here.
yeah, so in 2000.
It used to be
is
they
when we
was-
If I
started.
remember,
It used to be they would come twice a month and they would set up in a building in town and you had to go there and get your license.
It's a state
where I got
service
mine
that the
at.
counties are offering. It's not a county service. It's a state service that we have a 2080 agreement to issue. It's still a state service, if that makes sense.
And we get what, $7?
$7 per card issued, not per drive test, not per written test, per card issued. So we don't get paid to do those other things at all.
Have you ever asked for an increase?
Yes, we've been fighting for an increase for 10 years to try and move it up to $10 and have gotten nowhere. They won't pass it.
I, for one, would not like to see this eliminated in Louisa County. I think it's important. Yes, it might cost us, but there's other things that cost us as a service. And I think that's what we should do is continue the service here in Louisa County. I know there's kids that have to get out of school to go take a test and so forth. So where are they gonna go? They're gonna have to go out of town. Older people might be limited to how far away from town they can drive. Have to find somebody to take them to do that along with other people. So I would like to see it stay, even if it is costing us.
What other departments make money? Our secondary roads, the largest budget we have in the county, do they ever make money? They don't. It's a service
For service.
we get as a taxpayer.
There are departments that most of that comes from road use, doesn't it? Your gas tax. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're mandated to give a portion of the taxes to the roads department. We can't not do that. So. Well, we got a lot of suggestions last night at the meeting and the room was full of people that didn't like that their taxes were going up. But no one gave an offer of how to reduce it either. Nobody likes cuts, but, guys got ideas on where to cut? Let us know.
How much land does the county own? In Louisa County, how much land do they own?
I don't know the exact number. It depends on what you're talking about. It's divided up between the county itself, conservation, US Fish and Wildlife has a bunch, FEMA, the
Why
federal
can't they
government
figure out
has a
some
bunch.
way to go after, figure out where they can use that land?
We talk about that. And there are some things we're working on for the FEMA ground that we're able to lease it back and put it back on the tax roll, but that's not a helps, but it's not solution necessarily.
Hey, Sean, I would like to add to, this isn't a one-year decision, right? These, property tax reforms, which are causing the squeeze, are not gonna get any better. I mean, we're gonna have to lower,
You go back down again.
we're gonna have to lower tax rates every year for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So, not to speak out of turn, but this probably isn't the only thing
No,
that's gonna go,
no,
so.
no. True.
You pay for it.
That's somebody else's thing, but yeah.
So this tax thing's a done deal. It ain't a vote. You guys are gonna make a decision on that, right?
Tax thing.
The tax increase is a done deal. It's gonna happen. There ain't no vote there. You guys are making a decision. Is that correct?
Well, what we're talking about right now is
Okay.
driver's license.
All right.
That's what's on the agenda, right? So. Yeah, boys. Both sides of it. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't lose services either.
Not an easy decision for anybody.
Waffalo's kind of a fading away town. That's just one more thing we're losing. Right now, they gotta come from Grandview and Junction. Wonder to do that, brings them into town to get gas to.
A very dollar premium. We don't have a lot of industry, we don't have a lot of commercial, and other communities have that, and it's difficult to keep providing the level of services that we have with the funding that's dropping. Doesn't work. You do that in your household. You don't have a lot of money, you don't go on vacation. It's kind of where we're at. If it can go away, it can always come back,
And
but, you know.
if you get to where you can have more employees in there again, you can always go to the DOT and get a 2080 agreement, I believe, again. It's a process, but at this point, if you don't get rid of it, the days that we operate are probably gonna be cut back just so we can get the other things done, because we've already had one day we don't do driver's license, but we still get phone calls, we still get written tests. So it's not like we get that day to actually get anything done, we just don't issue. So it'll probably be cut back by far, just to get things done. But that is your choice. I see both sides of it by far, because there are a lot of people that benefit from it. So I don't, and I was here when we
These
fought
cuts
for
are
it.
not things that we enjoy doing.
No.
I mean,
Well, if you cut it back to, say, 2 days a week, would that,
It will help some. There's still going to be the training that they all have to do. There's still a lot of stress on the employees. That's a lot of my issue with everything, is the DOT has put a lot more on us. And I don't like the fact that, this is my big thing, is we get in the car with people, we have no idea if they can drive, and if they don't speak English, they can take an interpreter along. That person sits behind us. So I'm in a car with two people that I don't speak the same language of, they speak to each other, one's behind me. I don't like that, I don't like putting my staff in that position, but we have to do it per the 2080 agreement with the DOT. So that's my big thing that I don't like, and that's one of my main things that if you do get rid of it, would be a big relief for my girls. I wish they could speak in, because they have a lot of feelings on this as well, because it is very stressful. The job is very stressful. People don't realize just how much stress it does put on a person. But I'm not going.
Is there any
forward
chance that DOT would be interested in coming in 2-3 days a month and setting up a portable station?
If you decide to close ours, I can have that discussion with the DOT and see what they say. I can't say yes, I can't say no, that'd be their call. It's possible, but I don't know that for sure.
Do you know if they do it in other counties?
There are other counties that have traveling stations, so that is something that's done. But I'd have to find out if that's something they would be willing to do. But I'd have to ask them, I can't say yes or no. No.
I mean, that's kind of how it used to be. I think they just come once a month for a couple of days or
Up
something.
at the Briggs Center, yeah.
Well, that was a deal with ISU, but.
Or it's out in the place.
It was the Briggs at one point in time, I know.
Yeah.
Long time before they closed.
We're talking about the 60s.
Man,
I think we need to. Right or wrong, I think we need to make a decision and try it and do something else.
Well, we would make a motion that we close it and pursue with the DOT of trying to get traveling.
And I just need, not to speak it out of turn, but I need to have a date because of our scheduling process. If we're going to close it, I
What are you
need to.
scheduled out now?
Right now, we have not started May's schedule, so if you did it on May 1st, we would be fine, because right now we're scheduling for like the 3rd week of April. So, but that's you, if you give me the date,
Let's do 60 days. Let's get to June 1st.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Just give people plenty of notice. And if you want to do 90, that's fine, but 60 days and. Good.
Yeah,
Are your motion? Scott?
Yeah.
Could you repeat the motion, please?
Gonna close the driver's license station effective June 1st. Technically, it'd probably be May 31st, that's a Saturday. That would get you through Friday then.
Yeah.
And we'll investigate whether or not we can get the state to come down with a traveling DOT station.
Thank you.
No.
Good with that motion?
That's what I did.
Okay. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we'll move right along to number 8. We need to set a public hearing for the county budget. We have it down here as April 15th at 8:45 a.m., which is a normal meeting day for us. Yep. So I look for a motion to set that public hearing,
I'll make a motion, we'll set the public hearing for the 15th,
8:45.
8:45.
Okay, also, motion second, for any discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Proposed, item number 9 is proposed, fiscal year 25-26 budget for public entity. We gotta send that out to our newspapers, so we need to, prove that to give it out for publication.
Make a motion that we
Get the proposed budget out for publication in the newspaper.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 10 is Adam. How's the roads update, Adam? It looks like you got a windstream thing too.
Yep.
They come in fast and furious, don't they?
There must be some, flurry of them, that's leading to all this. This is, east of Grand View out, heading out towards, Langwood, heading north on I Avenue, down, Gas Hill. all that.
Map online.
Yeah, there definitely has been some new houses out there, and there, I think there's some things happening out there, so. I guess it's good to get them, high-speed internet out there, so. It's a big, long area. I don't know if you guys have seen, but this is a big area. It's all pretty standard work. I have, last week's thing, like you did go and, update the thing to have them to include rock placement, to include, dust control replacement, because that one was going through some people with dust controls. And the third is, when they're gonna do it, they need to flag out all our culverts, because we have had some issues with that path, so. Kind of raising the bar on a little bit, so. So, other than that, it looks fine to me. It's all pretty much standard, so.
Well, with that, I'd look for a motion to approve item number 11, which is the windstream right away for.
I will make a motion to approve,
Oh,
the Louisa County right away for fiber optics along 148th Street, 155th Street, Jefferson Street, Market Street, and Monroe Street.
okay.
And I'll second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And fifth? Anything else for us on your roads?
Not much. We are doing a lot of rock hauling. Trying to get that stuff, caught up. I had a first last week. I had a guy call complaining that we're putting too much rock on the road because he couldn't ride his motorcycle on the road, so. That's a first, for me, so.
Too much.
So, other than that, I've met with the DOT again about the detour, around 92 there. They're gonna do some patching. Sounds like they're probably not gonna get started until June. I mean, they haven't told me that for sure, but it definitely sounds like June is the time, so. Yeah, we'll see what happens when it happens there, so. Other than that, again, we're out blading, had some equipment issues, here and there. Two, working on the 5-year plan, which I'll talk about at the end of the meeting here, I guess. And, lots of permits and driveways and oddball things like that got going on as well, so. Any questions for me or?
You're on item number 12, you just want to put that to the bottom?
Yeah, because that's gonna take half an hour, 45 minutes, so maybe get everybody else to get their stuff done.
Okay. Thank you, Adam.
You're welcome.
Item, we'll skip 12 and go to 13. Discussion and or actions on the public hearing on amendment of Article 4, regulations applying to all districts of essential services. I don't think I have any paperwork on that.
Hmm?
Do you have paperwork on that?
We don't know what it is.
Yeah, man,
What's this code for?
what is Rob?
I'm not sure, I didn't. see that.
Zoning ordinance, I believe.
Is that the changes you made, or the zoning?
One of them. It's not very plain.
I agree.
Is that dealing with the solar?
I don't know if that's the one or the campers. There's two. of
Oh,
them.
that's right, I did see that in my email, we don't have copies of it here, I guess.
On travel trailers. The 10,
Is that the language
10,
change
2,
on?
the travel
Yeah.
trailers and campers may be parked on the premises of friends or relatives. Owner operating, visiting friend, as long as it does not exceed 14 days. That is the 10-10-2, which is on number 13. So.
I believe if I remember right, this referred to someone parking and hooking up a camper on their relatives or
Living in it.
living in it.
Yeah.
And before it said not to exceed a period of 14 days, and that's all it said. And so they changed the language to say not to exceed a period of 14 days in any 30-day period. Was what the change was.
How do you know if they're doing that or not?
Get a
You'd
complaint.
be surprised.
Do a complaint?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know if it's, the landowner's trailer? You know,
I look it up.
okay.
I just sent out a letter, 2 weeks ago for another camper that's sitting on property. A lot of them don't have a private disposal system, so they're just running it out.
You might issue them a permit and gain some more money by doing that, if you extend that. Have a permit system and you charge them to do that.
Yeah, but you also can't have multiple people dumping into the same sewer.
Really, that happens even in town.
Probably.
Okay, let's go ahead and set the public hearing on this amendment. I don't have a date, but next meeting,
April 15th.
same time as the other one,
Which is number, which
on number 13.
is 1, 2, 10, 2,
Mhm.
and that's 9:05,
9:05.
and then 15's the 15th at 9 a.m.
You have a public hearing for the other at 8:45.
45, right?
Is the 15 minutes enough for that? You think?
I don't know.
Yes,
I didn't think I was gonna have anybody here last night either, so.
Well, nobody should have planning and zoning meeting, if that helps you out, I mean.
Let's go ahead and put it at 9 and. I hate making them 9:15 and we sit here for a half an hour and do nothing but look. at
Well,
each
I
other,
didn't
so.
make the time, the
No, I
auditor did.
Let's make it 9 a.m. and if it runs a little long, then people will still be.
But easier to be behind schedule.
It'll be all right. What's the worst that could happen?
So do we have to have a separate time for each?
Yeah,
one?
April 15th, 9 a.m. What I'm gonna put on there for. You okay with that? I look for a motion to make that public hearing April 15th, 9 a.m.
I'll make a motion to have the public hearing April 15th, 9 a.m.
Okay,
I'll second it.
any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, we got the next one, item 14. Decommission plan, item number 6. Decommission plan, item number 6 is a provision that the terms of the decommissioning plan shall be binding upon the owner or operator and any of their accessories assigned in the heirs.
This is to do with the solar
Yes.
project.
We had a hard time getting a decommissioning plan. After the 5 years, they have to give
We
us
were in
new one,
trouble last time because of the sale of
the sale,
the sale.
and they
of it.
kept on putting it off and putting it off, and then we ended up finding out that they sold it. And then it took forever to get it. Then the new owner said, well, I don't have to give you one, so then we had to prove to them that we did before we took away their special use permit in order to charge them another $10,000 to get another permit to have it. So now they gotta give me 10 days notice beforehand of any sale or transfer. And
So
that way,
that's how this is gonna get changed.
yeah, and then we won't have any problems with the decommissioning plan.
Okay.
Because everybody is gonna know that up front, as far as a sale or anything. Where last time, everybody knew it up front, but we had to prove it. Now we don't have to, it's in the ordinance, they're gonna be binded by it.
Well, let's make that one for April 15th at 9:15. How's that?
Okay. Let's make a motion to set, public hearing for the decommissioning plan, April 15th at 9:15.
And I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Yeah, and then what I'd like to have is copies of those and then the new wording of it.
That is the new word.
Okay, can I have the old wording or was it even in there?
It's,
Yes.
it's,
Is it on the next page?
yeah, we need to.
Because people are gonna ask, well, how's this changed from before? And if I don't have that information, I can provide it.
That's the old and that's.
Yeah, I'm gonna make copies of that. Because that'll come up at the meeting. All right, item number 15, discussion regarding property located at 13979 Locust Street. A little packet, I have a little packet.
Yeah, I looked through it online.
Brian? I think this is.
I think this is about Robbie's building on County property on the alley that was built on the alley.
So, we got, what, a carport?
Carport in the shed.
This needs to go in front of the zoning, right? Zoning board? No? Okay.
So what solutions
So
are we looking?
what I talked to Adam about, I turned it over to Adam Parsons when Robbie hung up on me. And the determination that we came up with is if you vacate the whole alley, everything goes away.
I've talked with Adam Parsons also.
We're just asking to have just our portion of the alley vacated, so where we own north and south of. That's all the portion that we want vacated. The rest of the alley, we want to leave as an alley / easement, whatever it is, for our back properties in case we were to ever to rebuild on them. The alley is not a public alley, it's never been used as a public alley.
But it is a public alley.
Correct, but nobody knows if that's an actual
I've never
alleyway.
seen a car on.
It's never been maintained by anybody but us. It doesn't affect anybody but us.
What about,
So-
what about the property owners on the rest of the alley?
Well,
Barb
They're all.
Kerr and Harrison Beating are willing to vacate their portion of it to us if they needed to. They have no use for it.
But we don't want to do that. We won't do that.
Barb only wants to vacate the part to the south. She doesn't want to get her
Correct.
driveway.
Sorry, yes,
Yeah,
correct.
she don't want to give up her driveway now.
the corner lot where my shop is, I didn't know until Brian brought up it's ever been. I knew that there was an alley behind Barb and Beatings and mine to my driveway where it goes around the barn. In fact, there was a fence all the way around the corner lot until I tore it down just to beautify it because it looked like crap. Part of it's still there if you want to see where the fence was. And, the county put a new road up and curved road and they never put a cutout for an alley, which tells me there's no alley there.
So what you're saying is that you just want to vacate to this,
Just where we own on north and south.
We would like to
To this
vacate,
line?
yep, just to that line. So just we own north and south, we only want to vacate our portion of that.
And as a property owner on that alley, we do not agree with that. It's either all or none.
There is not, there is an Iowa code chapter that says we can vacate portions of our alley.
I actually have plans to build a shop behind Barb's house, so I really don't want to get rid of that.
no, but I mean, if we say you can vacate your portion,
No one else has a portion. They don't, that they own both sides of. We own both sides of ours.
But when we tried to vacate it last year, they were against it. And so was the trailer, and so we were at a standstill. And so Barb was for it at that time. So here we are, because it affects them, not us, then they're asking to vacate portions of it.
I make the understanding why, when I was trying to just get it taken care of with him, shut out, and he said, oh.
So we
all
were
parties affected. I didn't
informed,
know there was any other party affected. but-
we were informed that Ed Mears joined the zoning committee a month ago, and 2 weeks after that, we get a paper stating that we have to remove our buildings.
But
But we didn't
So-
bring it up at all this time. We brought it up a year ago. You can ask Brian, he's the one in charge of it. We brought it up over a year ago when we wanted to put a shed up and we were not able to for the direction. that
Correct, because
wanted
we
it.
want an easement.
I guess I just had a problem with saying that to this property owner, we're willing to vacate the alley to you and say to another property owner that is adjacent to the alley, no, you can't.
Well, that'd be.
I own property on both, on the other side of
Other
the
side.
other two, so I don't want to. And
Yeah,
I put the money of having city sewer and water ran to build houses there in the actual subdivision. And I'm in the process of building a shop behind Barb's house.
Did you get you file a building permit to put that building up?
Yes.
Yeah,
Then.
I did find it. And I also found their,
But-
site plan that he put in with it, and nowhere on the site plan is the alley showed.
Yeah, what are we talking? You find what from that?
I found your permit for just the shed.
It's not showing that
The
the.
one you couldn't find
that
forever?
the alley that goes
Yeah.
through it.
So,
Well, also, they talk about maintaining that driveway. It's only been Barb and I paying for the maintenance of the alley portion of our driveway. Robbie takes very good care of it when we ask him to come and, plow it or spread gravel and he's definitely donated some things for us, like great neighbors. We've not had any problems with them. But it's just, when it comes to this alley, it affects everybody.
That alley is not anything to do with your house. I mean, it's beside your property and to my property, straight on. It doesn't go.
No, correct. It's our driveway is the
Oh, yeah,
county
owl. Me,
alley.
you, the owl. My
It's the
driveway.
county alley.
It's my driveway also, yeah. Easement to my property. Has been since the sixties.
so you still have
Yeah.
easement, you're saying, from your house to that property too, though?
What's that?
You have easement from your house to that property too, though, also?
No,
Oh, you don't?
not if I sold that. I wouldn't, when I vacate my alley, my portion of it that I have to, and I have all legal rights to, under section. Help me.
Iowa Code Section 354.23 states that.
Then I won't have at that point.
Portion.
So if I sell it to Brian T, if you decide you want to have a good neighbor, you can come live right next to me. And you can get to it there. Otherwise you wouldn't have a place to get to it. I'd be screwing myself for money my grandpa spent
Then they're utilizing.
30 years.
our
Well, you can't run into
driveway,
things.
which is the county property, and who's gonna continue to maintain that?
I
Like,
volunteer to maintain that. I volunteer to haul rock. I
And if you
volunteer-
move, then
Plow
it's
snow.
the only portion vacated. Like, I feel like it's all or none. I don't know.
That's not the law.
That's the way I see it too, all are done. I told them that they couldn't build their garage that they wanted to build because they didn't meet the setback requirements.
Mears a year and a half ago. I said, unless you get the alley vacated. And nobody wanted, or Robbie didn't want to do it then. I dropped it. They didn't build their garage.
Yeah. It'd be a huge mistake for me to vacate the whole alley with my property, it's mine,
As far as them saying there's lots, there's,
5 lots.
according to the zoning ordinance, I would never let a house be built there anyway. Right now, it's an I-1, and even if you changed it to any other zoning as an A1, an R1, which an R1 is down to an acre, there's no way to get it to a C1 naturally. R1 is your only other choice. A1, you gotta have 2 acres. R1, you gotta have an acre. So if he did go in front of the planning and zoning commission and got it rezoned, you still don't have enough ground to build that building. A home, now a shed, now that's totally different.
That's what I'm getting ready to build there, right beside their house. Close to the property line as I can. Get ready to get a permit from that from here this pretty soon.
A lot of the grass alleys in town have utility easements on it, there ain't utility easements. Going through there, you have to be careful.
It's
No.
beside it, it's not on.
No, there's, it just ends in our backyard.
A lot of them they have aren't open
Yeah.
alleys either, but
Yeah, now there's like,
but you can't vacate them for the utility.
yeah, the utility pole is right on
Well,
our property
There
line.
is utilities, man, it comes right up my property line and goes right down the portion of the alley that I don't want to vacate, that's where we ran city sewer and water.
That's the Harry owns that, but it's like a rental, I assume, there's different people that.
Yeah,
Harrison Meeting owns it.
I'm in the process of helping them tear a fence down on that, and that trailer's getting moved out here pretty quick. Harrison's gonna build a house there. We tore the fence down last Tuesday.
Are you guys on city sewer then?
Yeah,
So if we vacated the whole thing, you would then share a driveway with Barb,
Which we already do.
but wouldn't you have to have it resurveyed so it was down the center of it? Technically, or you just write it in the deed or something?
That'd be a question for Alan.
And then what do you do with the property in behind Barb and the other one? You offer it.
What we were told when we tried to do it before was it's 50-50, so it would go right down the center of the alley all the way through, and whoever owns.
I have-
this
we
side,
have.
This side, this side, and this side, they get that 50%.
we had paperwork drawn up where Barb and Harrison both
Vacated their
deeded
portion
straight
to
there, their
us.
portion straight to us, straight on
Barb
there.
did say that she wasn't sure exactly what she would sign.
I talked to her a couple days ago again, she knows.
I see it all or nothing.
I don't think that's.
How
It's not
can you
legal.
get past the Iowa code rule of it?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that's how I see it.
You see it fucked up then.
Fine.
I just don't,
So Adam, would they not have to purchase this right away?
So, the last time we had something like this was up in Gladwin, right? The old platted streets up in Gladwin, old alleys and all that from the town of Gladwin, which no longer exists, right? We had a similar issue down in Toolboro. The decision on both of those was made that if alleys or right of ways were deemed, not needed anymore, they would need to be surveyed and a legal description written for that property. Would have to go to a public hearing, and then once it was approved, then the proprietor, the developer would pay for the property to be vacated. I think up in Gladwin, it was like 2/10 of an acre, and it was like $1,200 or something like that, so. that's the process that we've done the last couple times. But then there's the bigger decision as to whether whoever we is, I guess, wants to do this, so. I guess in terms of it being road right away, I would prefer to get rid of it, but I also don't want to create an LRIC situation where we have issues there, so.
What I don't understand is if we did vacate the alley, the only reason I don't want to vacate the alley, is I don't want to give up my access there. Why do I lose my access to the corner of my property if we vacate the alley? And what does that benefit them for building a shop on their own land? I mean, they screwed themselves by putting that shed right in the way. I mean, why do they got, they're not gonna be able to drive on my
But in
land.
all reality, if we said we're not gonna vacate any of it, they would have access to go out to K Avenue through your property.
Everybody's always had that, but
Well,
They don't-
no,
they're not gonna have that.
They don't now because there's a carport over part of it and a building on part of it.
I've been there for 30 years, 20 years.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying, you want to maintain access to your property, but
That has nothing, I mean, why would they need to drive through my property?
Well, what you're saying is you're gonna need access to that.
you can
back
get
lot.
access to your
It's
shed
going
without
to be
driving through there,
utilized.
right?
What? I can't.
You could get
You're talking
access,
when you're talking, not out of turn.
you could get access to your new shed without driving through their property, couldn't you?
No,
Well, you have a pretty nice driveway here on the other side that you can come right.
then I'd
in.
have to pour rock all the way around, but if I put the new, I wanna be able to get to my property, and if I wanna, you know, whatever, sell a lot, I can sell a lot right now to somebody to put a shed up. If I lose that'd be stupid on my part. Why would I have to give that up for them to build a shed? That's my question. Let's just say I agree to vacate the alley, but I want my access there on that corner. And not have them park in front of it where I can't get into it. There's vehicles parked there now and every day.
Yeah, we leave it flat. I mean, we have lots of room there for our vehicles, so.
That's not, we can't.
So
I can't get to my
so you
property.
can't say it's an alleyway if you're blocking it.
They've been
Well,
parking
anytime
vehicles
you've
there
asked
for
us
years.
to move
I've been
it,
neighborly, not saying anything.
But that right there shows it's not public don't use it.
Oh, the
it needs to
beacon
be
picture shows
vacated.
their camper parked in it.
No, our
Well, by the
camper's
same
not-
token-
Not now, but it was for 20
By the
years.
same token, that they can't use the part that you block.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that goes both ways. You can't just say they're blocking me but I'm not blocking them because they don't have any reason. Well, they might have. Who knows? You
I
know,
can't think
so I
of
mean,
I've
this
been
is-
there 48 years and I've never seen anyone
this
have a
is a-
reason to drive
it's a
through there.
two-way thing, you know,
Not one time.
so.
But that's my question. Can I vacate the alley and let them build I don't care if they build a building, they can build whatever the fuck they want, but why would I lose my access right there? I shouldn't, right?
Get shut down now.
We don't need that kind of
Yeah,
language.
please don't.
Carnival workers.
So
I never got my question answered there.
I'm not sure what your question was yet.
Oh, I thought it was pretty.
You can ask it again.
Why can't I vacate the whole alley and let them have access to my property there? Why would I lose that?
Well, to me, you still have access to your property. You have a driveway.
Why would I lose access at that point? That spot?
You have access off K Avenue.
I'm not asking,
To the back,
obviously you're not.
to the back
You're smart
lot.
enough to know I'm asking.
To the
for
back lot.
That spot where that alley goes through.
Well, I don't appreciate your
Yeah, you
tone,
need to
and if
stop.
you're gonna continue to go down this path,
Stop.
we're gonna move on, okay?
Close your mouth. Anyways, for the access to that back lot where their driveway would come into our back lot. If we vacated the whole entire alley, would we still get an easement to that back lot?
Oh, I'm not a lawyer, I can't answer that question.
That would be between you and the property owners that was vacated to. In my opinion, I mean,
It's vacated back to us. There's only two people that own on it.
No, because
No.
Barb's driveway would still be Barb's driveway.
So Barb could give us
the
an easement
stretch
on
that
it.
goes out to that road.
Okay.
You would have to get an easement from the property owners that was vacated to. That's not for us to say.
So why did Adam Parsons tell us that county attorney that it's not an issue at all to vacate part of that alley? We just gotta come up here
And request
say
it.
it.
I think he was probably commenting on the legality of it, not of the practicality of the issues that are beyond that.
It may be legal to vacate a portion of the alley. We're not saying that it's not. We're just saying that personally, I don't know how these gentlemen feel. I personally don't feel that we can vacate a portion to some landowner and not vacate to another landowner if they desire that.
They're not a landowner. You keep pointing to her, she don't own anything.
I'm not pointing to anybody, I'm
Oh.
just saying a landowner.
But they don't have any stake in that alley at all,
We have land adjoining it.
but not the alley itself. They're not gonna get any.
Well, you don't own the alley itself either.
They're not gonna get any, but I own land on both sides of it.
Well, they own the land on adjacent to the alley coming off of Locust.
Yeah,
But they're not getting anything off of it, right? Or they gotta pay for their own driveway, or I'm confused, I guess.
well, if we vacate that and we charge you for the portion we vacate to you, they would have to pay for the portion that we vacated to them, or Barb would have to, or whoever. So,
So it's pretty much gonna be a vacate the whole alley or nothing.
No, not necessarily. We just gotta-
well, that's the way I feel.
We just gotta bring the lawyer to the next meeting, is what we got, or whatever we gotta do. We've already talked to them. They said there's really nothing we have to do but
The,
vacate half the alley.
the decision whether to abandon right away comes down to the county. Okay, so we can say yes or no. So there's no forcing it or whatever.
Okay.
So the board gets to set the terms and conditions of that, and I would recommend taking their conditions.
So is this something that has to go to like another meeting, or is it something that can be?
I'll set a court date, I guess.
I need you to
If
go
you're
out.
gonna do that, we'll just go ahead and close the
Yeah, I
meeting,
need
bring
you to
your
go
lawyer
set
to
up
the
on
meeting,
that.
that'd be fine.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and move on. We're done.
I mean, we need to talk to Adam more, we have not
Yep,
discussed.
well,
with
they've
Adam.
already threatened legal action, and we're gonna go ahead and go that direction, so we'll go ahead and move on. Adam, we wanna move on to item number 12? Here's your plan.
Take your time.
All right.
No, walk that way. Got it.
I gotta wait this fun young man to walk by.
No, you can,
Okay.
I ain't that much younger than you.
See you, Sean.
Yep.
Walk
Okay,
that way.
Here's your.
I think that's what we're all.
I don't need that kind of language. I'm gonna take a break.
That's fine. Take it away. I can get on with it.
No, he'll be there then.
Yeah.
That's bull, that's crap.
Except.
Actually, one. Wants to take a look at it.
Not so much for fire.
Are you offended?
Oh, I'm sorry, thanks, Jim.
You got hit.
Well, I know.
Yeah, no, you go ahead.
I know. I can't bring it up at the next meeting. Okay. And, then I'll put it on the decision. You'll have to. Get it done, maybe.
No, I see the next meeting, no.
It's already built operation.
I understand. He says his driveway is private property, he can access that way. No, they can't, because he can stop.
That's right.
Once he vacated, then he can't access. And what's worse, you. Oh, yeah. It's gonna incur cost on that.
Yeah.
He's the game. Right now, like he. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we're around it. You know, we're not.
Well, that's
Yeah.
something to have.
You can't do it.
That's why I like to-
We're having outlet there.
I know.
I gave my house done, unless I'm.
I just.
I know. When he started throwing threats around for suing it, okay, we're done.
Was he just trying to get the driveway behind his,
We're not gonna do anything.
by the turkey farm that? That was.
We are.
I don't know that, but he wants to.
He wanted what he wanted out there. How to stand it out. It's
Okay, yeah.
pretty soft.
All right, moving on. So, every year we have to develop a 5-year plan and that's next the, DOT. This allows them to, kind of understand all the construction in the county. It allows them to, notify the regional planning associations and things like that as well, so. Projects take a few years to plan, the ones that are for fiscal 26 and 27 are getting, designed and heading towards letting and all that. The ones in 28 and 29 and 30 are, more of a concept plan. So gonna go through that. Some things that were previously on the fire plan and shown as construction and paid for out of the 300 series of construction are going to move to maintenance. It's a little bit easier to do things on maintenance. You don't have to have bid lighting and all that. You can, we obviously bid parts of everything, but it's just easier for us, in terms of getting things done. So, our funding, right? So we get funding from different sources. The largest for this is a farm to market. So we get about $820,000 every year for farm to market. That money is not passed through our budget though. Okay, that's in a DOT account. It allows us to save up for projects and we can borrow ahead. So if our annual allotment is $820,000, we can borrow ahead 3 times that, so it'll be 2.6 is what we can borrow ahead. We can also save up and keep some in the bank and do large projects that way. Right now we have 3.4 years of borrowing capacity, and that was after letting the paving project. So we're doing well on there, and
Paving project around Grandview.
Grandview, G28, X14, all that. Highway bridge money, we get about $312,000 of that every year. And a lot of that was used to pay for the Wapello Bridge. So we really got in a hole there. We were 8 to 10 years ahead, borrowed ahead. Fortunately, through some of the federal monies, it balanced it up a bit. So now we're only 2.5 years borrowed ahead. So I'm actually going to be able to use some of that money. I've been the engineer for 5 years and we haven't been able to do anything with it yet. So there's also special money, and that's federal aid money and things like that. Our biggest one that we've used is the SDBG program, which is the Surface Transportation Block Grant. And we get about $1.4 million every 4 years. And we generally use that for big paving projects. One, it's federal money, so it's a little more difficult to use. A pavement overlay is probably the easiest way to spend that versus a bridge, and you gotta go through all the environmental things for that. We also have local money, that's property taxes and road use tax. It comes out of our budget, and we have a balance, and that's what we do with that. Current balance is about 3.9 million, and we like to do 2 or 3 smaller projects every year. Like I said in the past, we've got 122 bridges. About half of those are on local roads that there's no aid for or anything like that. So we have to spend local money to get those done. So moving into the plan, I've got a map which is color coded, and the grid here, I call that is color coded by funding source. The gray ones on the map are things that are underway or have been done this fiscal year. Obviously, the big one is the X14, G28 up in the north there, paving in Grandview, Grandview bypass. On the Grandview portion, we do need to do a little bit of local work to take out some sidewalks and to put in some new culverts and things like that. We're actually going to get started on that here fairly soon. The contractor informed us Friday that they're looking to maybe get going on some of that at the end of April. So that's surprising because we're usually at the end of the paving cycle. It's usually September, October when our paving gets done, but it must fit in there a little bit better. Also on the bypass, I'm gonna go put a tile along that because it's holding water and it's an issue, so let's get it fixed. So that's the fiscal 2025 projects that are gonna get done, okay? Moving into fiscal 2026, we have 4 projects. First 2 are kind of joined. It's the Union 115 and Marshall 43 bridge repairs. Both of those are bridges built in the 50s. The decks are fine. They're a little narrow, but they're in fine shape. It's the wooden back walls that are rotting in them. So when we do a pile vent repair, they come and drill through the deck and pound in piles, 4 piles, and then have a cap. And then the bridge sits on that. You guys know out there on 50th Street in front of Thomas Trucking, there's a small bridge there. That's one that we did, right? And the thinking there is those are our local bridges, not a lot of traffic, but still critical to keep open, right? So to do those is, I'm estimating $75,000 a piece, probably a little bit cheaper because we're combining it into one project. But those projects will keep those bridges unweight posted, out in current loading for 20 to 25 years. So, we could replace them for 400,000, but again, that's something that's gonna have to be replaced. So let's do what we can on these local bridges to keep them open. So the design on those will start this summer and we expect lighting on them this fall. So that one. Third one is the W66 viaduct overpass. We talked about that during budget time. It's going to be our winter project. We're going to knock down trees and do some grading and haul dirt off and eventually break that thing up and open it up so traffic can get through it. There's probably going to be a little bit of pipe work and some other things. So honestly, I haven't planned it out fully yet, but it's a project that we can do mostly with our own equipment. So we'll work on that. And then the big one is the H-22 bridge over Smith Creek near Elwood Junction. The bridge is not in terrible shape. It was overlaid in like 2010 or something. The problem is it's narrow and it doesn't meet the weight limits that we are seeing now. So it is the only bridge from Oakville to 61. Well, it's the only farm to market bridge that we have in the county that is not 90,000 pound rated. I do get a lot of calls about that, whether it's trying to ship west or grain shipping east to the river. There are probably, I'm not breaking any news here. There are probably some people who are overloaded and run over that.
I'm sure
And it is what it is. And
Pointing fingers.
No, I clear my throat there.
Those people shall name.
Yes, yeah. So the bridge is gonna have to get done at some point. I'd like to go ahead and just get it done and over with. Plan is to get it done before the DOT does their work. I think we're ahead of them enough, but something happens with them or something happens with our project. So that I think I've got $1 million of farm to market there. Hopefully, again, I'm a little bit high with prices anymore. I really don't know. Really don't know. So that's 2026 projects. Moving on to 2027, big one. We got 2. I'm sorry, we got 3 projects there. Yeah. We got 3 projects. The first one is a small one. It's the Wapello 15 bridge, which is out there on M Avenue. The bridge is not in bad shape. We are in a grant to get a free deck on it, so we would just have to put new piling on it under it and all that. If that thing falls through, which with all this federal stuff, it might, we will probably, drop it off the list and just do some sort of a repair on it. Okay? But if you can get a bridge for half price, I'll do that any day, so. Big projects then, big one is a X-99 from the Des Moines County line up to Wapello. That is, as you know, as you drive on it, there's a click, 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 click every 15 to 20 feet. That is cracking. It was overlaid, what was the Obama area, 08, 09. Couple ready jobs, right? It was a couple inches of asphalt were done then. We're 16 years into it now. By the time that gets done, it'll be 18 years into it. The plan there is to mill off 2 inches and put down 3 inches of asphalt. Hopefully to get through the majority of those cracks. I am looking to do a little bit of widening in some of the curves. The road is 24 foot wide, but if we added an extra foot on the outside, it just kind of helps with trucks and access and all that.
Is that normal lifespan of a road like that
Yeah, it's fine.
with the traffic that we have?
Yeah, it was, originally, it was heavily done in 94, I believe, and then we threw some asphalt on top of it.
Just a cap.
Yeah, I mean, it was, a deal if you had a job that was easy to do. Other side did it in, I guess, so.
So now you got 20 years out of a big heavy job and you're getting 15 out of a lighter.
Light job, so I'm hoping to get, so I'm kind of looking at things in my life, right, this hopefully will get me through my tenure.
I was always curious what the life expectancy
Yeah.
was on roads.
I expect this mill and overlay that we're planning to be 20 years.
In concrete, you get 30-ish.
Depending on the base and all that, you might get 50 on it. I mean, we've got a lot of pavements, especially out in the west that are in the 80s. So my big picture plan is to kind of get 99 done so I can focus west. Yes, go ahead.
Adam, we can.
Take care of it.
Yeah, well, he started threatening legal action, so I stopped it at that point. So I would guess that we're gonna need your services in the future.
All right.
He dropped a few too many F-bombs in here that I could stand, and so I just stopped it and moved on, so
Okay,
you can go continue your day.
sounds good.
Thank you. Well, we probably will need you at the next meeting, because I'm sure he'll be on the agenda, and
Okay, slow down.
I will. Thank you.
Don't forget 58-1, might need him.
Mhm. So, the estimated, price tag for that right now is 4.3 million. And that will take us up to our borrowing limits, which is fine.
How
It's,
many miles is that?
12. So it's a big thing, hopefully I'm estimating a little bit high. Well, it's actually 13, but the Oakville Bridge is done, so that takes out a portion of the project. So,
Length 6.8,
what's that?
on the charge, that length 6.8.
Oh, well, there you go. That was
This
I'm only doing one side.
So, I'm gonna be honest here, I originally was gonna do from the county line up to X 61. But I didn't think I could get back to that next part fast enough, so let's just get it all done. Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, I'm not criticizing,
No, I
I'm
messed
surprised
up.
when you said that.
I messed up there, so. And then, so, we've been promising the people of Oakville an asphalt overlay there for years. We're gonna get that done, but that's gonna have to be local money, because I'm out of farmer market, so. We'll do a couple inch mill and overlay there in town, so. Probably bid them at the same time, or try to get the contractor who's doing the big job to do ours as well, so. I was trying to do asphalt in groups so that we can get better pricing.
They already have the equipment here and they're already staged.
Yeah. So that's a big one there, so, moving into fiscal 28, I've got two projects there. One is the county HMA resurfacing. Again, this has been kind of on the list ever since I've been here. We've been kind of biting off pieces of it as we go along. Biggest portion is, out there by the, power plant. There's a lot of asphalt out there. That's all local county roads. I am going to try to get a FLAP grant, which is the Federal Lands Access Paving Project, to go out to Kilpack, and hopefully that works. If we don't get that, I'll probably do some sort of asphalt repair and in the seal coat. Honestly, you know, I don't know that I'm breaking any news here, but we don't know the future of that thing, right? So it's always something that's on the list, needs to be done, but we kind of keep kicking it down the road. There is a little bit of asphalt up by L&M School on old 61 that I am keeping an eye on too. That's that. So what we know about the Highway 61 project, right? We know that there's gonna be a grading project, but in 2027, and there's gonna be grading done around Lot 28 and 29. During that project, the 5 mile lane is going to be closed for something. They are gonna build a frontage road from 5 mile lane west to 100th Street, right? So that will be our access. At some point during that period, access on the 5 mile lane is going to be closed. We've talked about upgrading that little stretch of county, and working with the city on their portion to create a better entrance into Waterloo. So I have it on the list for 2028. It might be 2029. I don't know yet. I figured once we got it through our planning, we would go talk to the city of Waterloo and see if it's on their schedule and kind of what needs to be done there. During the public hearing process and all that, there was definitely a call for having some paved shoulders on that road, widen it out a bit, making it more of a modern, because it is going to get a lot more traffic than it does. I think the current traffic count is 1,100. Once 61 doesn't go north of town, you're gonna double or triple that. So something has to happen out there. So again, these aren't hard concrete projects. These are things that we know we have to do. So that's that. We will also get some transfers of jurisdiction funds from the DOT along this period, and maybe that goes towards it or something there. So again, that's 3 years out. Fiscal 29, this is another project that needs to get done. I'm not sure on the date and time. That is the K Avenue Bridge south of 65th. It's only 20 foot wide. Probably get weight limits on it here in the next couple of years. That's one that is going to feed into an interchange that's someday probably going to get a lot of traffic and stuff like that. So that is a priority. So it's just a matter of when. Good thing for the county is we actually have some highway bridge funds in, so I can probably use that towards that project.
So is that bridge in worse shape than the one over on 65th right across from it, or?
The 65th one is in a little bit better shape. It doesn't have the deck patching issues, and it's not weight limit issue. You know, those two bridges are kind of not an optimal deal where you have two $800,000 bridges right beside each other. So I don't know if some point if we can talk about maybe combining them into one bridge at a common location and saving us money, but that's some discussions that we kind of have to have in the future. So Moving on that one, to 2030, we have three, projects I'm thinking of. I do know that we do need to start working on X 37, between Wapelin and Junction. We've got a lot of pavement issues, out there. Obviously it gets a lot of traffic. It's pretty important roads. I can see some safety, work being done there on Jones Corner, going up to Hazes. So you got the big curve, and then you got the UT thing there at the end. If money and time wasn't an issue, I would rather regrade it and repave it. Again, there's issues though with that, so we're gonna work on that over the next few years, so. Hopefully by 2030, we'll have more SDVG money for that. There's also some culverts underneath that aren't in best shape either, so it might be a big project at the time, but that's the thing to think about. The other three projects, I mean, we got that Morning Sun 24 Bridge, which is north of Heritage Oaks Golf Course there, on the curve. That's got like a 15-foot wooden back wall. Back wall is starting to rot and that. We will probably replace it with a culvert or a small bridge at the time. Work on it.
That bridge ain't that terribly old, is it?
It's not that terribly old, but the back wall is 15 foot tall and they're rotting. And there's not a lot of things you can do to fix something like
You
that.
can't do that pile like you're doing over.
We might, but it's so tall, our bridge, people don't like that, but something that we will definitely take a look at for sure when it comes out, so.
Why did they use wooden? Cause I mean, I'm pretty sure that ain't that old.
It's in the 60, late 60s or something like that. The other thing is the bridge standards, they didn't put as much steel in the bridges. So it wasn't designed for a 90,000 pound truck, which that doesn't get a lot of truck traffic there.
No, but still our combines and stuff
Yeah,
go
yeah,
through there.
Yeah, so.
And it's one of the wider bridges
Mhm.
in that area.
Sure. So, option one will be to try to repair it for cheaper. Option two would be to replace it with a box or a tank or something like that. So. Whenever we can on a local road, we try to go to 24. On a farm market, we try to go to 30. Hay Avenue, even though it's a local road, I would treat it as a farm market road.
Yeah.
It just gets lots of traffic and all that. What the third project is, I mean, it's on that. The third one is Wapple 14. It's that little truss bridge out there by Corey's house out there on N. It's in purple. It's totally green.
This one,
The Waffle 15,
Uncle 15, this one.
no, it's one very top.
Sit down.
I don't see a 14 one.
Yeah.
Where is it? Along with, I don't know, what avenue?
Yeah. So it'd be that one right there. Yeah, there's just small one right there, yeah. I do.
This one.
Oh.
Okay. And then right there, and right there. So there's a.
So it's right down from Chuck Simmons' old house.
Yep. It's a truss bridge. It's been on the plan for 5 years. We haven't ever done anything with it, but it's just a thing that needs to get done at some point, so.
How are you gonna incorporate that overpass up there by Gladwin and the removal of it? How is that incorporated into this?
That is up there on the blue. Right there.
Oh, okay,
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so. That's our plan. On the big sheet, I've got a bunch of other things that are always asked about and haven't done, you know. We've talked about doing things on the Bluff Road, on North Columbus. You know, there's been called in the past for some more, grading improvements up there on W 66 up in Union Township. You know, X-37 is gonna be a continual project until it gets, you know, done over the next 20 years or so, so.
I'm shocked at how much traffic goes around the upper part of Columbus Junction on that gravel road.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, it gets a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of houses up there.
Yeah.
There's all the gas plant traffic up there, the hauling from the wells and maintenance and things like that. And then you also have a lot of, I'm running late to work at Tyson and I'm gonna take the gravel there.
Yeah.
About 5:45 in the morning, there's all the traffic up there, you know. And again, all things to be done, there's not enough money to do it all, but I feel like we're making steps forward. We don't have a lot of really bad roads out there yet, but when it happens, we'll be planning for that, so. Any questions for me or anything?
Good plan. I think for a couple of years and.
You can see if the city can apply for farm to market and, go right on through town here when you're doing that project.
And you know, that's,
Part, it is.
yeah, so a thing about the 5 Mile Lane, I also don't want to spend county money and then have it get annexed and all that for the city, so there's gonna have to be some discussions about all that. Obviously, we can all work together on it and, you know, but,
They have in the past, so I don't know why they wouldn't.
yeah, so. All right, well.
Any, horse and buggy signs put up yet?
I've had some questions, on that, and once we figure out what the, traffic patterns are, we would address that at the time. I do know that we've got some groundbreaking out by Langwood, so,
I've got some pictures. I'm trying to get them sent here, so show you guys before we leave.
well,
Trying to get them in.
yeah, and again, it's, you know, it's personal people, so I don't really wanna make it about any personal people, but as that happens, it'll happen, and we'll deal with it then, so. I am concerned about our bike lane on X-61. I think it is in trouble. You're gonna have fun.
You're gonna get polluted.
And it's gonna get packed up pretty bad, so. Anyway, that's life,
Bike
so,
path you only get one wheel on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not wide enough for a horse and buggy.
you can put one tire on that, one tire on the
ground.
I have a question, Rick.
Yes.
Has there ever been any consideration to change the stop sign on K Avenue and I think it's 100th Street? Where Robbie Murray lives right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, you said that they're gonna have a frontage road and they're gonna be using that as access into town.
No,
While they have construction.
the frontage road in town is gonna be up to the trailer park. Yeah, it'll go from the 5 Mile Lane north up to the trailer park.
North.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's.
Cut through that field. So the street that goes in front of the hot rod shop, it'll be a dead end. Cause that road's.
Beer Can Alley?
Yeah, Beer Can Alley will parallel the
Right.
interstate. Now, on the other side of the interstate will be this frontage road that goes to the trailer park. So when you come out of the trailer park past the cemetery, and you go through this like
West of
western,
the trailer park?
yeah, you will go straight instead of turning and going back to 61, you'll just go straight to the 5 Mile Lane.
Yeah.
It won't be that S turn there anymore.
Yeah, so they are gonna close 100th Street west of Beer Can.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna put in a frontage road parallel to the new highway there, so.
Well, I'll try to explain
Yeah.
my position.
Yes,
Kate Avenue is concreted with a curve coming onto hundreds.
You mean in there, you're meaning switching the signs to have the through route on the paved and not on the other one?
It's painted that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's painted with a double yellow line, curve, but yet when you coming to the east, you're trying to look backwards to
I
stop.
brought that up when I first came here and everybody's like, oh, let's just leave it alone, but if people want it to happen, we can definitely talk about it, so.
Randy, you're right, because coming from the transfer station, you stop, you gotta look
Every-
out the back window and it's tough.
Yeah, everything is
Yeah.
with the double yellow line, the cement road, it gives you the illusion that the right of way is to turn,
Yeah,
and it's not. If you're stopped at the stop sign and their car coming from the, north, you're gonna expect them to turn right, and they could be going straight,
yeah,
and you pull right out in front of them. I think it's an accident waiting to happen.
sure. And
I was wondering how I
I see what you're
suggest
saying.
you can, I mean, I will consider it and we can.
petition, whatever you wanna
Petition
call
and we
it.
can-
Well, let's
we can talk
remove,
about it.
let's not put a stop sign, let's remove that paint.
I'm okay with putting a yield sign over on the gravel road
Yeah.
and not a stop sign. I don't know why we have so
Well,
many stop signs.
I mean, I guess I always kind of watch them people, because you never know. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about there.
Yeah.
But then again, most people are gonna slow up anyway, otherwise that city street's gonna send you everywhere.
It's got a pretty good.
That thing, that's bad.
Yeah. Well, and then, in 3 to 5 years, both of those roads are gonna be cut off anyway,
Yeah, there won't be any,
So,
just very little local traffic there.
there's still gonna be plenty of traffic on 70, that's, people
Oh,
going to
yeah.
work and the transfer station and now that versus J Avenue, it's just gonna be one. I'll just,
The problem is, the stop sign treats us like it's a T intersection, and it's not.
yeah,
That's the whole issue.
If it was, it would be better if it would have been a T
Yeah, it would have been
intersection.
better just to come straight up to K and have a
Yeah.
straight T intersection. That
Yes.
would have been better.
yeah, we can take a look at that, so. Sure.
Remind me of the Winfield blacktop over there, people just getting into Winfield.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Their planet, same deal.
Well, that little triangle south of me on J Avenue,
Yeah,
I mean, if you come off 65th and turn north, and you're trying to see if somebody's coming like this, you can't see.
well, now, there's a legitimate reason for that, because that was old Highway 61 or Federal Aid 2 that used to come up to Wapello and then jump over the river and go up through
Right.
Grandview.
And it's not bad when the crops aren't in, but when the corn is 8 feet tall,
Yeah,
you better pay attention.
Eight's pretty short corner.
Yeah.
And, well, and on that, where Jay goes up there to Bickford's at the T, there ain't been a stop sign there since the solar company ran over it. It's never been replaced.
nobody has ever complained about that, so yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody's ever saying, but it's been run over since they started construction.
You put stop signs up for people,
But I mean-
driving that way without one for 60 years. They're gonna drive through it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these are just where they've always been, and I just haven't wanted to.
You guys may
You'd be surprised when my wife gets a
I
lot
would
of
move to a lot.
alteration customers from up Muscatine area. And they'll type in J Avenue on their GPS trying to find us, and it takes them off 61 north of the river and takes them out through all that.
There's a lot of J avenues, a lot of Ks and all that.
I've had mechanics
But Jay used
call me and
to,
they're
Jay
up
used
there
to
by
cross.
Keltner's and they can't find me.
Yeah.
Well, then that
61.
did head
Jay used
into
to
a
cross
field
there.
up there. Yeah, that old dirt road goes straight up into a field.
Yeah.
So, over the next, couple of weeks, I'll bring you an actual printed form that I have to hand into the DOT. The budget thing is a little bit different now because of the rule changes and all that, so we actually had to. So I take the budget that was approved, right, by the board, put it into a DOT form, and it used to come to you guys first to sign and then submit it, but they mixed it up, so I sent it to the DOT, they have to review it and will get it back to me, and then sometime in late April, we'll have both these formal documents to sign and give to them for their use, so. So not only do I have you guys overlooking, you know, it's got the DOT. So. Cool stuff. All right.
So I did have another
Yes.
request. Prairie Road, what is the speed limit right there when you come in? Is it 45 when you come in there on the 5 mile lane? Or is it down?
It
I think
is
where it changes right
Changes to
there.
45.
45 or 35 or something. Yeah.
Well, Troy Rowe was complaining that he'd like to see it go down to 25. I'm like, I said, I'll mention it to you, but that's, I mean.
I think 25 would be pretty hard. to
Well,
enforce.
it would be pretty hard for trucks, I think, to.
Yeah,
I think currently it changes to 45 and stays that way
That's
until
what-
you hit town.
That's what I was thinking. I don't know if we could go down to 35, maybe right. I don't know, that's just something he
Yeah.
brought up to me, so I said, I'll mention it to you. But still, I don't know if he's seen people going faster, but maybe that's something that
I-
they need to sit on or something. I don't know.
yeah, you know, we can take a look at it and knowing in 2 years it's probably gonna be closed for construction.
Yeah.
A thing to talk about too, and this, I didn't include the plan, but it might come up, you know, is what is Beer Can Alley gonna look like too? You know, as more trucks come off of 61 down there, because there is gonna be a period, 20, like we talked about that at the meeting, right? 2030 or 2031, that the road is not gonna go north of Buffalo, right? The end of the floor is gonna be at Buffalo, so we're gonna be traffic there and all that. Beer Can Alley is gonna be an issue. All right, guys, well,
Yeah,
thank
there'll
you.
be a lot of traffic.
Any news on when they're gonna start paving out here on 61?
They are supposed to let a paving project this fall.
Oh, really?
So I would imagine this time next year, they'll.
Okay.
I'll make such motion.
I haven't heard anything about down my meeting.
I mean, that's already been let, so.
Yeah, I'd like-
oh,
yeah.
It's a matter than.
The city does, farm market company will do this and widen it, you know, I'm taking this.
So, when the city takes that, they're gonna come with a jurisdiction payment. And we can nice to do something there and have.
Go north over the hill